I think the first question, Brad, was, tell me if I'm right, qualification process. Was that the beginning of the question?
What are you looking for in a buyer? And obviously they can't qualify for a mortgage. So having never done this, that raises a lot of red flags.
Because you're conventional. Okay, I own two properties. They own two. So I own two properties. Now I'm going to put that person in, right? And so can you address that like you would? Well, he is a seller, but like you would a seller. I think the first question, Brad, was, tell me if I'm right, sort of the qualification process. Was that the beginning of the question?
Yeah, just what are you looking for in a buyer? And obviously they can't qualify for a mortgage. So having never done this, that raises a lot of red flags.
We have a set, which once we determine that, yes, okay, this person has a down payment, they have an income, they may be a fit for our program, we would schedule a buyer's meeting. And once we schedule that, that's when we get them over to screen the tenant with their credit screening, and they're going to do a full screening. So credit, criminal, sexual harassment. More importantly, they're going to do their mortgage readiness date. Is how long it's going to take them after they've done the credit repair, the credit enhancement. And that's what my dad was alluding to with 18. You get back from them usually like 12 to 18 months, 18 to 24 months. And then very few, it's probably 10% of the time. It's higher than that, 24 to 30 or 30 to 36. But that's in the process where we get them over to the credit screening, the tenant screening route. So then the ones that actually do what we're asking them to prior to the buyer's meeting, we know, okay, we have someone serious here. We ask them, we're going to need this in order to make a decision. So it behooves you to go ahead and do this prior to the buyer's meeting. They're even saying that there's still a lot of buyers that don't do it. Because they're like, oh, well, I want to meet you. And the ones that do it, no questions asked, those are usually the ones I end up working with.
Okay.
And we've seen it all, you guys. So there's an emotional part that I can tell you the biggest mistake with associates, and you're already shaking your head, is the emotional part of but they told me this, and I know they only have this step, and they get too emotionally in it and not black and white, and it's headache in about 13 months, so whatever it's going to be.
As recent as earlier this week, I had to, Rick and I had a conversation, and then Rick said, well, no, they're going to be selling their mobile homes, so they don't have their down payment.
Is this your buyer? Who's buyer?
Rick's back.
Oh.
That's where they get their down payment. So what do we do in that situation? Rick, I don't care their drama, what they have going on.
Right, tell us when it's done.
They got to do it in order to, we can't take the house off the market contingent on you selling your mobile.
Yeah, no, you guys, this wacky stuff comes out of these buyers.
This is the one that the buyers left. It looks like original buyers left.
They're gone.
They're ghost.
Yeah, surprise, surprise.
And because we pay $600 to clean it out, the additional $800 for professional cleaning,
so
$200 in plumbing work.
Just so you know, nobody is going to cry when you tell them the end result. But
yeah, it's dead, but it's 2 payday ones.
Yeah,
you're already getting blown up with activity, right?
Yeah, I have to answer over 70 inquiries in a couple of weeks.
But the fact is, Rick didn't need the headache. You can just a little more proper. Well, you didn't need the headache.
No, we never want our buyers to fail. There are a lot of people that teach it from the stage that, oh, great, they're not able to do it, have a party, celebrate.
It's actually most
do it again.
Other people in our space will say publicly they don't care if they got shot. Going on podcasts to say it publicly, which kills me that they're even saying it publicly. So their agreements might protect them, but morally, nothing but it stinks.
Right. Yeah, I was truly upset that it didn't work out for them.
Yeah. Because you had the other buyer was in tears and
they weren't happy they just couldn't afford the money.
No, I meant the one that was happy, the one that cashed out.
Oh, yeah.
And her mom, I think.
Yeah, she walked into 70 or 80,000 equity. And she never thought she'd be able to own a home.
Because of the appreciation over the time.
appreciation plus what she had put down on the property.
Remember, your conversation is this, Brad. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Tenant buyer, we're not landlords. You're non-tenant. You're going to behave like, pay for things like, appreciate or not lose market like a buyer would the day we sign the paper. Not closing, it's not closing, but the day we sign. You're a buyer. So when someone calls and says they can't pay, for example, as a bank, we just have an open conversation. Is the bank really going to care that, you can't get it over and you got to do that? No, you got to pay your bill just like you owe a mortgage or you're already failing.
Mm-hmm. That's why I have zero emotion in it.
Have to.
When someone gives me, oh, well, I can't do it. I'm in the hospital and this, that. It doesn't matter.
And you can't imagine the excuses.
It's saying that.
You've heard some of them.
It's very simple.
All that buyer-related stuff. We don't get off on a tangent.
Once you have a tenant buyer in place, how often are you actually in touch with them,
That's good.
if at all?
Yeah. No, great question. So usually I tell them at the buyer's room, or we've told them at the buyer's meeting, that you're making all your deposit payments on and you're keeping up on the property. Surely there's really no reason for me to want to do a walkthrough of the property. We have the right to with 24 to 48 hours notice. I make that clear to them at the buyer's meeting. However, chances are we're not going to be calling you to want to do a schedule walkthrough. If you're keeping up on all your rent payments, they're on time on the first, all your scheduled deposit payments, and you're keeping up on the property. The times when we become concerned is when those payments are falling behind, your rent payments and deposit payments, and then we are not getting communication from you as the buyer, I'll continue the buyer. So if anything happens, life-wise, and you're going to be late by a couple of days on rent payments, or any deposit payments, just make sure you're staying in communication with me, because when we stop getting payments and then we do a drive-by, we see the property's falling into disrepair, we're not getting communication, that's when we want to schedule do a property walkthrough. So,
so if they're paying, you're not really reaching out to them at all or talking to them?
It depends. One of the things my dad mentioned, that if it's a buyer that you have a vested interest, whereas you have to make sure they get to the finish line with the clock is ticking.
That'd be a reason.
You want to check in with them, every 6 months to make sure they're on top of it. And then you're reaching out to them if they fall off the credit repair at any time, which my credit team is going to let you know.
Okay, so you hear from them on the updates too.
Especially if they drive.
If they fall behind on their credit repair, So,
you don't even know that? He tells you, because they
reach out.
They have a portal, and if the client stops paying them and drops out, they let us know. And in their agreement, if that's part of their mortgage ready plan that they have to stay on it, it says if they're off it, it defaults their purchase option. So now you have all that leverage.
Hey, really, and you got to think about it. We're setting up the agreement with the buyer at the beginning, just laying it all out. What they are, you're gonna stay enrolled in credit repair. You're gonna take care of the home, of maintenance, repair, and upkeep as if you owned it. So you're setting all the expectations early on in the process, so that there's really no reason to give them a call once a month, hey, how's it going?
Right.
Kind of thing. Because if they're following what you laid out for them, they'll be successful.
Rick, how many cash out threes have you done already?
4.
4 threes already?
Yeah.
And what'd you do with this? Did you call them or no?
No.
Nothing? But they also didn't fall behind except for that one.
No, they didn't know who fell behind.
And did they all cash out early? 2 out of 4 or what?
2 out of 4. It's the other one's cashed out for time.
Okay, so that sounds about right.
Yep.
Nice mix.
So you mentioned credit repair. So they're paying you on time. What if they're not paying the other ones on
the credit people?
Yeah.
Then that would screw up their mortgage ready plan, because part of it is they got to keep up with their payments.
Are they looking at their other credit at the same time, or is it just you that do?
No, they don't need to. The program, the credit repair program, monitors that.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. Is that in fact is one thing that you're paying $79 or $75 or $100 a month?
Yeah, and they're kept up to date as to what their credit score is.
Okay, so yeah, all right. So that's what I was asking. So
They pay the credit card company. The credit repair company do that though. We don't.
right, but I'm saying that that's piece of that.
They're not looking at our payments; they're looking at the whole picture.
Right. That was because that was
That's funny. So some buyers will get to the end. Oh, I didn't qualify. They start to point fingers, and then we hear from Paul Ritter, the owner, that, well, yeah, they went out and bought a new car. Or yeah, they ran their credit card up. That's not part of the plan. So it's always a trail.
Do you get an early warning sign as to whether they're not going to be able to qualify? It's like 2 months ahead, 3 months ahead, or
All varies.
Well, yeah, like it in every deal is different. Yeah, you got
like you don't like, or you got to find somebody else.
you don't want to sell, but you can't do anything until they're
Till they default.
fine. As long as they're keeping up on that rent payments, the rent payments, as long as they're keeping up on the rent payments, you can't kick them out of the house. You guys, the warning signs are that fall behind in there.
So what do you do if you got a 5-year deal from the seller and they put this tenant buyer in and their deal is 36 months? It's called, right?
You would never schedule a rental and buyer anything more than 24 months, because only more than 24 months, it's not real.
You got to keep control.
Yeah.
It's a check-in. 24 months check-in. Not sure where to get started? Go to smartrealestatecoach.com/get going for free books, strategy calls, and a whole bunch more. We're going to help you get going the wicked smart way. We've been after this for over a decade doing exactly that. I had 4 deals set up for slides in case we didn't have enough of these. We have plenty today. I can sequence them if you want, but they were all different weird deals, not standard cookie cutter. And 2 of them were, one was my first sandwich ever. In 2010, we just sold it because the rent-owned buyers went in there, like a couple, they were engaged, they split up. Okay, they did it again. Next couple split up. I'm like, this is how it's like couples. But the second one, and Drew was like, Chris, can I stay? My dad will help me pay. I literally never heard from Drew, and he went to Bank of America every month and deposited cash in the account. All through COVID, never missed it. This is, again, 2013 or 14. He was the second one in. When he stopped paying a deposit, when he lost his significant other, he knew he became a tenant.
Wait up. They broke.
Yeah, they broke up.
Pass away.
Well, he lost her. They broke up. So he goofed. He lost her. So he became a tenant. And we went up on his rent every year to 2 years, and it go pink. And he knew he was a tenant. He lost his initial deposit. And we just had another one down towards the Cape that did that. She was an attorney. She knew she was a tenant for like 2.5 years. Then we ended up selling the house. Significant profit. They got paydays coming up like 200-something grand.
Yeah, actually, we got her in there before. We got her in that house before COVID, believe it or not. And she was this close to owner financing it. We scheduled with the attorney twice, and she just never.
I backed out of that. So red flag. I don't have money to pay your closing for an owner financing deal. So Nick and I were concerned. So last QLS event that some of you were at, we went there on the way to the QLS event because we were concerned. And we found out at that time that her 2 or 3 adult kids were back in. So that was like 5 cars there and 5 incomes and all this stuff. Like, oh my God. So anyway, long story short, I can show you the trail on this tomorrow if you want, but she's out and we resold it already and it's closing June 26th. Yeah. And we had it sold to her for something. And on the open market, we got, about 3 weeks, 580.
Find out.
580. Wow. It's a nice payday. 3.
Just as a business bubble time, essentially.
No, we do all our stuff with realtors who feed us too. Each one of our states, Nick's got great relationship with these realtors to the point where they'll go do work for us to get it ready. On their own dime, just do it. They get it ready. It's crazy. Anyway, so there are no nuances, Raj. And the punchline is there's so many pivots and it'll be profitable for you. It's a matter of how much more. It's a waste to pivot. So we keep some of them long term. Where the buyers come?
You advertise it. I'm doing
Prosperity.
Before it was Prosperity, it was we had access to it through Appfolio. So it's with Appfolio, which is you have to have 50 plus doors to have that. Well, we give the community access to that with a company called Prosperity. where you get access to hundreds of different websites. It's a portal that posts it out to. And then we also encourage all of our associates, anyone really, to go and post on all different kinds of websites.
And who are the buyers, guys? The credit dings. I started my own business. I told you Judy's had healthy income. Rick, healthy income. The day after he left his job, he probably couldn't buy a car or a house. Not for 2 years of seasoning in his new business, right? So those are great buyers for us. Divorce, death. The house that Cape was a divorce. The house that I just talked about, my very first one, divorce. So they're all different. The house I just told you about that I kept that long started as a simple 3-year lease purchase. I turned it into a sub 2 and then kept it, whatever that is.
And the seller 11 years houses were okay with all the extensions.
Well, the 3 years for the lease purchase with the woman, my very first lease purchase, I then called her, incentivized her to transfer the deed, sub 2. I said, I'll pay the closing costs. You're going to have to at the end if I don't, and I'll send you $2,500. You're certain for money. She said, okay, done. My attorney handled it, and I took over the house. Now, she called like every 2 years. When are you going to get rid of it? I said, I'll let you know, because there's no agreement when you buy a sub 2. The agreement is I'll let you know when I cash it out. There's an agreement if there's equity, but there was no equity in this. I got it for what it was worth, which way back then was 180 something. And when we cashed out in January of this year, or whatever month it was, I think it was down to 110, and we sold it for in the 4s. Well, high 3s, man. Yeah, it was a big payday. Anyway, all kinds of cool nuances. Was the buyer snippets helpful, you guys? It just gives you another view, but go back and go through Mod 9 again after Nick's explanations. That'll help you. Those of you that own properties, definitely go back and look at Mod 9, and you'll have questions.
Quick question on the down payment installments that happen over time. Do you usually have some kind of communication or standard way to reach out to them to say like, hey, can you pay, let's say it's in 6 months. Do you remind them like, hey, by the way, you have 30 grand due?
Not 6 months at a time, but we do. One of the items on the checklist, Jeremiah, and I'm talking this way because I know you're the here. One of the things on it, especially, this is we have the ability to automated text reminder. Just make sure you're never opting out. Rather of those. Sue usually sends updates. They're all automated. Sue manually does it 30 days out.
And we're not saying, can you, Jeremiah, just a little twist. We're very assumptive. We're reminding you that this is due in order to maintain your...
Got it. Yeah.
Very important.